What is going on, League of Legends fans? This is Twigger coming at you with another high ELO commentary. This I'm going to be focusing on Daydreamin, the support player for GGU, Good Game University, the second rated team actually in the North American LCS during that kind of summer relegation tournament. They managed to beat quite a few teams to get up to that second place, just losing to TSM in that final game. Looks like we also have Zion Spartan in this game as well, playing Kennen up in that top lane. Zion Spartan is an incredible Kennen, so going to be very, very exciting to see how he does on that Kennen. But the majority of this is going to be based off of this Sona. I have not cast a Daydreamin game, so I think this should be a lot of fun. I did cast a couple Zion Spartan games, so going to focus a little bit more on somebody I haven't really casted, but it looks like we already have a little bit of trouble down here in the bot lane for Daydreamin. Nautilus picking up that red buff from the enemy, stealing that one away, and it looks like going to actually get that stun off the flash having to come out of Daydreamin, but a lot of turret shots being taken by Lulu, and a great Q coming out of nothing here, playing Ezreal, picking up that Lulu after taking 2 turret shots at level 1. Never a great idea to do that level 1 turret dive unless you have 5 people and you really have a good catch in team synergy, but definitely not a solo queue thing to really try out. So folks, don't try that at home. It clearly did not work. But in terms of how that all went, at least they did get the red buff steal from Sejuani, but actually it doesn't really matter because Sejuani has now just gone into their jungle and stolen their red buff because she had full knowledge of where that enemy team was, and they were gone for so long trying to kill that Sona. But here's a great flash out of the Nautilus to get that stun onto Daydreamin, and it looks like they're going to clean up Sona, and I don't believe that Ezreal is going to be able to make something out of this one, so getting a little bit of a comeback there from that early kind of fail with Lulu dying. Nautilus picking up that kill. Definitely didn't set him back as much as it would have been if they didn't get anything from that waiting around in the brush, because Sejuani was starting to pull ahead. Already level 3 to Nautilus is level 2. And it looks like Nautilus is just going into his jungle, going to pick up his blue buff. The lucky thing about using that much time to get that first kill is that his, his smite has already come back up. So taking down that blue buff shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's the smite used, and he picks it up without any issues at all. And a great little thing about this game is that we're going to be seeing a Talon in the mid lane, and now I haven't seen Talon in the mid lane in God knows how long. So fun stuff, seeing how he's going to pair up against Jace. Normally you pick Talon as a counter to those AP mids, who are just going to take an absolute onslaught of damage from Talon with his AD, and also that silence really helps out as well. So don't know how he's going to do against a Jace in the mid lane, but only time will tell, I guess. Zion Spartan take a little bit of harassment from this Elise up in the top lane. He'll probably just get right on out of that one. But here's some of the damage coming out of Talon, getting that bleed on, and now Jace kind of doing a counterattack there, but Zion Spartan once again being jumped on by this Elise. The Ignite is out. The Cocoon lands on Zion Spartan. That Ignite is going to be enough to clean him up, and great little fight there up in the top lane. Elise really just keeping her cool after that engage, and after he managed to get some damage on her landing that Cocoon, and the Ignite, not really a whole lot you can do. That electric rush doesn't really get you through Ignite, but now all of a sudden we have Nautilus coming down into the spot lane, double buffed. No, he doesn't have his red buff anymore, but Daydreamin once again getting the focus of the damage there from that Draven picking up the kill. And now Nautilus managing to hit Ezreal with his Q. A little bit of damage coming out. Sejuani going to miss her charge. And once again, a lot of damage going down into Ezreal. Is the Ignite going to be enough to pick him up? The barrier comes out. I don't think Ignite is going to be enough, but it might be enough to kill that Sejuani. It was. That axe was already in the air before she flashed. Sorry about that. Always a bad thing when you die as well as use your flash. But here's the fight that we were looking for down in the mid lane. A lot of damage coming down onto the Talon, and Talon is now just going to try to pick up this Jace because he knew the Elise was coming. I don't think that Ignite is going to be enough to pick him up. It was actually enough to pick him up, and while all that was going on, Draven ends up killing the Ezreal. Great amount of action in this first, 5 minutes of the game? 5.5 minutes, and we already have 8 kills on the board, so more than a kill per minute. I think this is going to be a pretty darn exciting game, so definitely going to see how this one all plays out. And the scary thing about what just happened is that now Nautilus has his mobility boots. Having those movement 5 boots just to run around the map, he is just going to be everywhere. And I also find it hilarious watching Nautilus run with these boots. I just want to check him out for a little bit. Oh, he doesn't have the... oh, no, he does have the proc up. No, he doesn't have the proc up. We got to get him on a longer stretch. I just find it so funny. He's just kind of bouncing around really, really quickly. But looking at this Draven, already 3-0-1 and with a BF sword. 6 minutes into the game, having that BF sword, scary, scary stuff. As a lot of you might know about Draven, he does have incredible early game damage with those spinning axes. But look at the damage going down onto the Jace. Can't really talk about Draven anymore, but looks like Talon's just going to be bumped away with that E from Jace in his hammer form. And I don't know if Talon's going to be able to survive this one, because he already used his ultimate to try to attack Jason. His flash is down. Nautilus getting those stuns. A great Q coming on to him. And is that going to be enough? It's not going to be enough to kill him. Can Jace get a good shock blast out here? I don't know, but Talon, you're backing in the wrong spot. There's the flash, and he doesn't put down the acceleration gate. He screws up that shock blast completely. So not picking up the Talon. Unfortunate. That probably would have picked him up if he had just landed that one, but it's kind of screwed up the acceleration gate there. A lot of damage going down onto Draven. Sona trying to flash in for that one. The Ignite is down. The shutdown bonus going to Daydreamin on that Sona. That lovely Ignite picking that one off even through the barrier. Barrier ended in the last couple shots went off. But here already is the Nautilus. He was in mid lane, but those mobility boots getting him down to the bot lane. But a lot of damage going down onto him. The Glitter Lance coming down, but Ezreal doing a great combo onto Nautilus, and it looks like Daydream is going after this Lulu, but not really going to chase down that one, and now all of a sudden we have another fight up in the top lane. I don't know if Zion Spartan's going to be able to get the stun down onto this Elise. Zion Spartan's Ignite was used, but Elise's Ignite is going to be up in just a couple seconds here. She does still have her flash available as well as Kennen. So I don't really know what Zion Spartan really wants to... This is going to be a very scary situation, because I think he feels like he has the advantage, but... if Elise lands a cocoon and gets that Ignite off, her damage is definitely going to chunk down Zion Spartan. But, man, they are not allowing for any kind of break here. I really kind of just want to chat, but no, it's always action. But here comes the engage that I was looking for, and there's enough right there. Just going to repel up into the air, not take any damage from those minions. That's exactly what I was worried about, getting that Ignite off with that flash. Zion Spartan couldn't even get his own flash to save himself. So, definitely not the best situation for him. Already 0-2 and just barely up in CS, but pretty even in that top lane. And already a Haunting, guys, and a blue pot coming out for that Elise. Scary, scary stuff. Now, what I am very surprised about, actually, was that Ezreal in the bot lane. He did manage to now pick up his Spirit of the Lizard Elder, so probably going to be that blue Ezreal build that has been going around so frequently. It's been so popular nowadays, but oh god, here comes Draven onto Daydreamin. Look at the damage coming out, just going to chase those axes. There's the ultimate, picking that one up so easily. Don't know what Daydreamin was doing there, but there's the Jace doing a lot of damage to Sejuani. She has to burn her ultimate to try to escape that one. The Ignite was not enough to pick her up, and now Talon's trying his luck to see if he can pick something up here. His Ignite was burned onto the Jace, but it's not going to be enough to pick him up. So very, very close fight going on in that mid lane. But I don't really know what Daydreamin was thinking there. 3-1-1 Draven when she kind of got caught by him, but it definitely wasn't going to be able to survive that damage with his BF sword. But here comes Nautilus popping that ultimate off onto the Talon. Jace comes in to do his combo and just blows him up completely. Talon did almost pick up that Jace, but it certainly was not enough to get through all of that CC. It looks like Talon is picking up the Spirit of the Lizard Elder as well, so interesting build. Since I haven't seen Talon in high ELO for quite some time, it's going to be interesting to see how he builds that Talon to actually kind of go into the late game. But here's the damage coming out of Draven. Ezreal already down to less than a quarter health. It's got that red buff too, so chasing Sona is going to be so easy. Is he going to have enough? It's not actually going to be enough to kill Sona, and Sejuani coming in at just the right time to pick up that kill. She does have a red buff and a lot of frost, so the permafrost is definitely going to be able to slow Lulu down enough for Ezreal to pick that one up. Lickety split, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and Ezreal is going to be sitting now at 3-1-2. Starting to match up to that Draven. Does have more CS, and it's just going to be kind of fascinating to see. Draven does, I find, tend to fall off a little bit in the late game, but I find Ezreal with his poke and with his ultimate do have a great late game. And look at the damage going down onto Jace. The ultimate from Talon being popped out. Not actually going to be enough to pick him up. But there's the flash. It was enough to pick him up. Is a turret shot going to be enough? It's not going to be enough to pick up Talon. Thought that second turret shot might have done enough damage. But here comes Nautilus. His ultimate is not up, so going to be difficult to pick up that Talon. But definitely scare him off a little bit of full-fledged Nautilus with full HP. But Nautilus did actually burn his flash to try to pick that Talon up. But it looks like from the cooldown on... no, that actually he used his flash on the Jace, so don't really know what happened there. Nautilus just flashed, I guess, to try to get the Q off or something like that to try to pick up that Talon, but it was not successful. So the lucky thing about that, normally it would be a much bigger deal if your jungler used his flash, but Nautilus with that hook and with those mobility boots, not going to be too difficult for him to catch up to people. The ultimate from Sejuani going out, that red buff proc going on to Nautilus, and they're going to have plenty of damage. Goomba on that Talon picking that one up, and Ezreal actually picking up the Draven and now turning onto this Lulu. I think they're going to have enough. There's a double kill. Unreal. So I don't know, maybe the red team is now playing a little bit too aggressive, getting a little bit overconfident with the kills that they had in the early game, but man, the blue team is just capitalizing on all the mistakes that the red team were making. Ezreal really landing all of his skill shots, Sejuani being in the right place at the right time. It's starting to really turn the tides. The only one that's really still kind of blatant up here is the Kennen versus Elise, Zion Spartan playing that Kennen. Not to say the CS is still in Zion Spartan's favor, but being down 0-2 and at least being up 3-0, definitely going to play a factor. And at least with that Magic Pen scales so well into the late game, but I do have the feeling that when you combine that Sona ultimate, the Ezreal ultimate, the Talon ultimate, the Sejuani ultimate, and the Kennen ultimate, all in the same team fight, their AoE power is just going to blow up the enemy team. There's the ultimate coming out of Kennen, at least still favoring this fight, and as we're talking about that one, Talon uses his ultimate to try to get onto this Jace. A lot of damage going down, but it's not going to be enough to pick him up. I don't think the bleed's going to be enough either. Jace is going to sit there with a minimal amount of health. The Ignite, he didn't even cast his Ignite. Talon didn't cast Ignite, but there's the Ignite going down on Zion Spartan. It's not going to be enough to pick him up, but I'm still very surprised Talon didn't get his Ignite off. I don't know if it just wasn't up during that particular fight, or if he just forgot to use it, because that would have been a dead Jace if he had actually cast that one on him. But, you know, you can't win every engagement. And kind of an interesting build coming out of Talon with the 3 longsword, so I'm assuming one of those is going to be a Brutalizer. And then what he turns the other one into, I don't know, maybe a Vampiric Scepter or God knows what. Here comes Nautilus with those mobility boots, running on in. Manages to catch Daydreamin with that stun, the Q landing. Sona does not have her crescendo up yet, the Draven ultimate being used, but it is not going to be enough. They burned a lot to try to get in, Sona there, but didn't actually pay off. So the Lulu ultimate and the Draven ultimate being down, and Nautilus ultimate still isn't up, still about halfway through that cooldown. So Ezreal and Sona are quite safe here, even though there are 3 members. Because Draven and Lulu are just getting poked down. Daydreamin once again getting caught, but now the crescendo is up. Oh, Ezreal happens to miss Draven with his ultimate. Probably would have been a dead Draven. It is going to be enough, though. Daydreamin picking that one up. Oh, there's the shutdown bonus for the Lulu, getting that last little pix proc there. Daydreamin is completely out of mana, though, so definitely doesn't want to stay around with this Nautilus and the Lulu, but at least coming up, using her Repel to get back onto Zion Spartan. His Lightning Rush should be up fairly soon, but ends up burning the Flash to try to get away from that one. But here's Sejuani picking up the Lulu. Great ultimate to pick up. Is it going to be both of them? He is so low. Sejuani's going to chase after this one. Her Flash is available. There's the Flash, and there's the double kill. Great play on Sejuani. This is also, I think, the first new Sejuani cast that I've done. I have seen her in games, but I've seen her in games more at kind of my ELO, so seeing her in this Diamond League, definitely very cool, because she has been doing incredibly well. 3-1-2. Already has that Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Definitely paying dividends for her. Doesn't even really have a whole lot of items, but her CC in general is just providing so much for this blue team. Doesn't look like Talon has finished any items since the last time we spoke, but now it looks like Elise taking a lot of damage from that turret, but just going to repel up. Talon ends up falling to the Jace, and it looks like Sejuani taking a lot of damage as well, but one more turret shot might have sealed the deal on Chase, so they didn't want to chase that one down. And Elise just doing a great job at kind of roaming the map, so now 3-0-1. Picking up the advantages where she can, and she's managed to also nearly even up the CS in that top lane, 94-91. But here comes Zion Spartan, the ultimate being popped by Kennen and completely whiffing. Man, doesn't that suck. But not a whole ton that he could do about that one. The Ignite going off onto Zion Spartan, and that's going to be all she wrote. Oh, how unfortunate. Just completely whiffed that ultimate. But, you know, it's one of those things, you can't land all of them. But here comes Nautilus and Lulu. Ezreal just going to try to jump in onto this Draven to kill him, but Lulu ultimate's going to go on that Wild Growth, keeping Draven alive. No problem at all cleaning up that Ezreal. Ezreal does have a substantial minion lead over Draven, 107-84, and does now have that extra kill over Draven. So definitely going to be a battle of the ADCs coming to this mid-game. But the interesting thing about how these kills have all gone, it's very split up. But oh dear God, Talon jumping into the midst of 4 people. Absolutely no hope of him surviving that one. Don't know what he was really thinking jumping in on that one. Could have just flashed over the wall or something, but I guess he wanted to try something. But he did manage to finish that brutalizer, so I did call that one. So pretty happy about that. Don't know what he's going to turn that last longsword into. Could be a vampiric scepter. Could turn it into a hex drinker to kind of combat that Elise. Not entirely sure what he's planning for that one, because I don't really know what Talon's build nowadays for them to still be kind of viable in that mid lane. At least looking to fight Zion Spartan up in this top lane. Now his ultimate is not yet available, so definitely not a fight that he was going to win. Definitely just going to run away from that Elise. Doesn't want anything to do with her right now, because her ignite and her flash are both up right now. Kennan's ignite is up, but his flash is not. Probably not the best situation to be in if you're Zion Spartan right now, because you're facing down a 3-0-1 Elise, who has now got the minion lead. So the one disadvantage that she really had was that minion lead, and now it's tied up. But Nautilus, being very, very sneaky. When's he gonna come out? I'm still watching that top lane. I don't care. Directed camera. I am watching this. The cocoon missing on Zion Spartan, though. Is the Q going to land? The Q from Nautilus does not land. If that cocoon had landed, that definitely would have been a dead little Yordle there, but was not enough to pick up Kennen. And here comes the crescendo onto this Draven. Unreal amounts of damage. Both ultimates landing on him. He just ran right into that one. Guess he didn't think of checking that brush. But looking up at the gold, 27k to 27.6k. Very, very close game, folks. There's the ultimate coming out of Zion Spartan. Then another fight, and finally Zion Spartan ends up coming out on top. The ignite's not even going to be enough to pick him up. The stun being absolutely perfect from Zion Spartan stopped Elise from repelling any more of that damage. And it looks like Goomba on Talon wanted a little piece of Nautilus, but barely doing any damage to him after he had popped his shield. Definitely not the position you want to be in when you have a brutalizer and you're not really doing any damage to the tank on the enemy team. But Talon is one of those late game assassins, so I'm kind of looking. Oh, but here we go. He jumps over top of the wall, uses his ultimate. A lot of damage going down onto Nautilus, but the wild growth is not going to be enough to keep him alive. It's not going to be enough. Talon picking that one up because of his ignite. Great little play there. So much damage when you combine the Ezreal and the Talon onto that one, but a great little shock blast coming out of Jace, doing a little bit of AoE damage. I would love it if these guys took a break for a second and allowed me to take a sip of my beer, but no. They're going to just keep on fighting all the time. I think I might actually have a chance right now. Oh, dear God, that was lovely. Oh, so now that throat's feeling a little bit better with that sip of beer. Let's take a look at actually what the gold is looking like on all these people. Just in the lane matchups, 5,500 to the 6,000 of that top lane at least, definitely having a bit of an advantage there. Pretty even amongst the junglers, couple hundred gold difference. Big difference though in that mid lane, almost 1,000 gold, just over 1,000 gold, and also in that ADC role, over 1,000 gold in the lead of the Ezreal. And also actually Daydreamin sitting with over 1,000 gold over top of Lulu. And look at the damage going down onto Elise now. The ultimate from Talon being popped. The Kennen Q does miss, and Daydreamin is going to pick that one up. Scumbag Daydreamin securing the kill. Definitely not stealing it. He doesn't steal kills. The early Oracle is also being picked up by Daydreamin. And the crescendo is up from Daydreamin, so he is going to hold on to that one. Zion Spartan getting completely picked off, but doesn't want to waste that crescendo quite yet. Wants to time it a little bit better. Ezreal is still alive with his ultimate up, and Talon is still alive, so their big damage dealers are still all there. Sejuani managed to finish her Aegis of the Legion. Kind of an interesting buy to sort of, not necessarily rush that, but to kind of prioritize it, because they don't have a ton of magic damage on this enemy team. Would have expected a different item, like a Locket of the Iron Solari or something like that, but what am I to say? But the flash crescendo coming out of Daydreamin, amazing crescendo locking these guys up. And it looks like the Nautilus is going down as well as the Jace, Ezreal, and Talon picking up those kills. And Lulu is incredibly low as well, but managed to get out of that one. Looks like they're just going to take down this turret, but at least once again taking a ton of damage. Could she go down again? Daydreamin liking his odds there, puts the Ignite down onto Elise. I don't think it's going to be enough to pick her up. The Ignite takes her down to literally like 1 HP, but not going to be enough to pick her up. But definitely sending her back to base while the blue team picks up that free turret. Definitely solidifying a bit of a gold lead here, 35.4k to 31.6k. So getting a bit of a gold lead here, kind of spreading themselves apart from this this red team kind of gold stalemate that we had going on for a little bit. 19 kills to 16 kills in favor of that blue team. And the thing about Zion Spartan right now is that he's managed to keep his CS up pretty decently. Even though he is 1-4, so he has managed to pick up a couple items in that Haunting Guise and the Needlessly Large Rod, but also having a bit of magic resist as well from the Negatron Cloak. But while I'm talking about that, Talon gets turned into whatever animal that was. But look at the damage coming down onto Nautilus. He's going to flash over that wall to the red buff, but it looks like they're not going to try to catch this one. But Ezreal ultimate coming down from the bottom of the base. Is it going to pick him up? Is it going to pick him up? It is not going to pick him up. Damn, that was so close. Would have loved to see that Ezreal ultimate pick that one up from across the map. But there's the Iceborne Gauntlets proc, as well as the red buff proc onto that Jason. So much damage coming out from that Sejuani Ezreal combo, and so many slows with the Iceborne Gauntlet and Sejuani's permafrost. But it looks like Daydreamin is going to be picked up as well. That Draven just doing so much damage to a Sona that's basically just wearing cloth. Not really a whole ton of armor on her. It does have that Locket of the Iron Solari, but it's only a couple hundred health, but it looks like Lulu's going to get caught out a little bit here. The wild growth going on. Her Draven's going to come out to try to pick something up here. Flashing over the wall. Great little flash, but there's the permafrost coming out of Sejuani. Is it going to be? It's going to be enough with that ultimate to pick up the Ezreal, but Draven goes down to Zion Spartan. Zion Spartan really needs to land a couple stuns here. His ultimate is still available, but it looks like he's not really planning on using it quite yet. At least trying to get out of this one, but not going to work. They just have too much chase potential with that Sejuani and the electrical surge coming out of Kennen. Boy, just great little turn of events for that red team. Too bad that Ezreal did get picked off, but it was a great play from Draven and a great ultimate to pick him off over top of the wall after he had burned his flash. But Ezreal didn't even get a chance to get his ultimate off in that fight. Might have made it that much better and that much quicker if he did. But here comes Kennen and Sejuani, and there's the ultimate that Kennen was waiting for. Really wanted to get that out to a max effect. Is this going to be enough to take down Jace, though? Sejuani's doing her best. I don't think it's actually going to be enough. There it is. There's the dominating for Sejuani, but it looks like the jungler from the enemy team also picked up Kennen. But there's Sejuani jumping over the wall with that rush. There's the slow going down and the crescendo coming over the wall of wolves to pick that, to CC that Nautilus, but it's currently not going to be enough. But here comes Talon. I don't know if he's going to be here in time. The Locket of the Iron Solari being used by Sona to try to stop some of that damage, but looks like that'll probably be the end of that engagement. They didn't manage to pick up that Nautilus, so just a 1-for-1 trade. Jace for Kennen. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say that Jace is probably a little bit more important than Kennen is right now, just because of the itemization. Jace does have 55 CS more than Kennen, and one more kill and a few more assists, so definitely a more crucial factor. Lulu actually picking up that blue Wraith. Kind of a piss off for Ezreal, but what can you do? Sona actually also sitting with 29 CS over the 10 from Lulu. It doesn't look like a lot, but you know, oh, don't know what that was. Almost died. It doesn't look like a lot, 29 CS to 12 CS, but when you're a support getting that that extra little bit of CS, it does add up to quite a big difference. A couple more pink wards can make all the difference in a game. But as we can see, Lulu having that oracles and clearing out as many wards as she can. Already gotten quite a few. Probably going to go into that Baron and find that pink ward. But not actually going to go in yet. But here comes Talon trying to assassinate somebody. Getting a great ultimate off on so many people. But he has put himself just right in the middle of everything. Gets picked off very, very quickly. The sustained damage coming out of Ezreal onto this Elise. Not going to be enough to pick her up. He's going to have to try to kite this one down now. A Q landing from Nautilus. So even through the arcane shift of Ezreal. And there comes the Ignite and the Crescendo out of Sona. But it's not going to be enough to pick up this Draven. His life steal is just going to bring him right back up. Zion Spartan looking like he wants to try to make something happen here. But I don't think it's going to work out well for him. But there's the ultimate going down onto Lulu. It should be enough to pick this one up, but the damage is already stopped And it looks like Sejuani's going to come in. She is godlike, doing as much damage as she can. Zion Spartan using his Zonias to try to escape this one. But here comes the Elise with that repel. Picks up Zion Spartan. And now Sejuani is running for her life. Q is going to land from Nautilus. There's the stun and there's the shutdown for the Draven on that godlike Sejuani. Not the best decision to go in on that one. I think they thought that they were going to do a lot more damage than that, but Baron doing quite a bit of damage here too. Elise, she's going to have to be very, very careful. Probably wants to stay in that human form rather than that spider form. But the Baron is going down so quickly. But here comes Talon. He might be able to clean this one up after the... No, I spoke way too soon. The Ezreal ultimate and the Talon ultimate doing a lot of damage, picking up that Nautilus, but definitely not enough to clean up everybody from that team besides the Lulu. They just have way too much damage. So now we are sitting here at 26.5 minutes into the game, 43.5k to 42.9k in favor of the blue team, but now the red team has a Baron buff. Going to be very important for the red team to kind of start solidifying a lead here with that Baron buff. They definitely need to take down a few towers because they're right now 2 towers behind what the blue team has. Maybe pick up a couple kills and... Okay, Ezreal just kind of using his ultimate on that red buff. But they're definitely going to need to solidify a few kills, get a few turrets down, maybe a dragon, because dragon is currently up, and they need to really solidify a gold lead here and start taking control of this game if they really want to win. Because I feel like Draven is going to start slowly falling off here. And with Talon in the background, he can jump on Lulu or Draven and just kind of blow them up. If he plays it correctly. Right now he's been kind of jumping into an Oracle's Lulu, and that ultimate is not really helping his escape. Looks like we are going to have a little bit of action in the mid lane. Seems to be where everybody wants to fight. Well, there's a great amount of damage coming out onto Lulu, and good God, the Talon being blown up as well, so now it's going to be a 4v4, but the Wild Growth being used by the Lulu as well, so they're not going to have it for this fight, so everybody's going to be a tad bit squishier. Sona does still have her ultimate, which is definitely a scary thought. Having that ultimate still available, it is a very big ultimate, but Lulu did not have that Baron buff, so not really a whole lot lost for that red team. They're going to need to poke an awful lot more if they're going to want a fight to happen here against a Baroned up team with the majority of their damage dealers still alive. Well, with all their damage dealers still alive. And here they go, at least trying to get in to get a cocoon off. Manages to land the cocoon onto Sona. Sona's got the Nautilus ultimate on her as well. Not really doing a whole ton, but there's the Ezreal ultimate hitting a lot of people there. The Draven ultimate coming down and hitting quite a few people as well. A great Sona crescendo, though, picking up that Draven, but Elise also picking up the Kennen. The turret doing a lot of damage to Elise. It's going to pick her up. Turret MVP in that fight. And now Ezreal was the one who picked up that Elise from that those turret shots. And Jace looks like he's just going to kind of run away from that one. Very surprising that he just chose... Oh, I guess it was the Talon that scared him off a bit. Because he had a very low Ezreal and a very low Sejuani. That one Shock Blast probably would have picked them both up. Talon sitting with his ultimate available and his Ignite up. Not sure what he's thinking. Maybe he wants to try to just pop somebody off the map. Could probably do it with Lulu. But she does have that Oracle, so he is not going to be able to escape with his ultimate. Sejuani being a little bit ballsier, trying to take down that Dragon. She is very low. Never really want to underestimate how much damage Dragon does, but looks like they're going to be perfectly fine. Ezreal sending a little Q over there just to do some damage, and Talon lending a helping hand. But taking a little bit of a look at the CS, 169 to 156 in favor now of the Kennen. That CS lead has come back into his hands, 119 to the 70 for the Sejuani. But Talon being caught out a little bit, has to burn his ultimate to get away from that one. Not the best position to be in, and Nautilus does have those mobility boots. They're going to be up again pretty soon, and Nautilus should be able to catch Talon. Talon jumping in onto the Lulu, forcing her to burn the flash, so definitely not a bad thing. But looks like Talon is just going to go down for that one. Luckily, there were only Nautilus and Lulu fighting that one, so it was only a kill and an assist. And he did manage to burn the Nautilus ultimate and the Lulu flash. And the Lulu Ignite, actually. So really not a horrible trade. You still don't want to die like that, just kind of out in the open, because you're being a little bit ballsy in the red team's jungle, but he did manage to burn a lot for that next fight. He will be up before all of those things are up, so maybe if they try to force an engagement quickly here, they could make something happen. Talon being up in 13 seconds. Probably not going to be up in time to defend this turret, but they did now just run out of minions. At least diving straight in here. The tower did go down from that Draven, and it looks like Ezreal taking a little bit of heat from Nautilus and Elise, but he's just kind of kiting back, scooting, shooting, and using those Iceborne Gauntlet procs to do as much damage in slows as he can. He does now have that Mirror Mana completely upgraded and the Last Whisper, so Ezreal's going to be doing a lot of damage. Looks like he's also going to build into that Blade of the Ruined King, so he will be doing a ton of damage. Especially considering Elise and Nautilus both being very, very tanky and having quite a bit of health. That Blade of the Ruined King going to be doing a lot of damage. Ezreal using his ultimate to clear down that bottom wave so his minions can push. Not entirely sure when the next Baron is due to come up, but definitely in the next couple minutes, I could say, because their buff has been gone for a little bit of time. So I would say probably in about a minute. And Jace once again kind of screwing up that Shock Blast. Don't really know if he's overly experienced Jace, but here comes Talon trying to kill this Draven. Sona's coming here as well. Oh, jeez, the Crescendo completely whiffed. A great flash coming out of Draven to get out of that one. At least using her Repel, though, getting back onto that Sona. And it looks like Zion Spartan's taking a little bit of heat too, but here's the fight that we were looking at, Sejuani and Sona. But here comes Zion Spartan to try to lend his teammate a little bit of a helping hand. Lulu taking so much damage from this Ezreal. There's the killing spree. Lulu didn't even use her Wild Growth, just kind of knew that she was dead there, didn't want to waste too much. And as I was saying, Ezreal just doing so much damage. He already finished that Blade of the Ruined King. So he is pretty much at a 6-item Ezreal build. Very, very scary stuff. As Ezreal just jumping through that wall, didn't want to get hit by that Jace. A great Q from the Nautilus, going to lock him in place for just a little bit. There's the Draven ultimate coming out, but only managing to hit Zion Spartan. I don't even know if he does have his Zhonya's available, but Ezreal being caught by that Elise Cocoon, and there's the ultimate coming out of Sejuani, locking up 3 members of that team, but it looks like she's going to get pulled right back into that. The ultimate coming out of Zion Spartan is going to do a lot of damage, stun of that Nautilus for a little bit, and Talon's going to pick that one up. Talon does get picked off by that Draven, though, and they do pick up the Draven, though. Ezreal picking that one up, and now Elise running for her life. Zion Spartan missing that Q. Doesn't tend to do very well with those Qs along that curve. But I believe they're going to have enough to chase this one down. They definitely can't, she can't stop all of them. And it looks like Sona, Daydreamin going to secure that kill. 5-6-19 for Daydreamin. Having a pretty spectacular game, I must say. Ezreal really doesn't need more kills because he already pretty much has his 6-item build. He can upgrade his boots, but that's about it, unless he wants to start selling some of those little more early game items like the Spirit of the Lizard Elder, but I really don't think he will. So, not a bad thing for Sona to be picking up a couple kills, make her a little bit stronger, support that team a little bit better. And it looks like they might be trying to go for Baron? Oh boy, this is risky. Because as we can see from that ward that was by that behind red buff brush, the red team does know that the blue team is starting this Baron, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time. That Spirit of the Lizard Elder just doing wonders with that Blade of the Ruined King. They do take down that Baron completely for free and with no smite. But here comes Nautilus. This is not a good fight for blue team. They do have Baron buff, but geez, it's going to be very, very close. A lot of them are pretty low. Zion Spartan being taken so low from that Draven ultimate. A great ultimate coming out of Sejuani, though, locking people up, and another crescendo landing on 2 people, locking a bunch of people down with those 2 ultimates. And now the Ezreal getting that proc off from the Iceborne Gauntlets and the red buff, picking up the Jace 4 for 1 in that exchange. Great trade, and picking up that Baron as well. So definitely a great fight. I didn't think it was going to turn out that well because the blue team did have quite a few members that were a bit lower coming into a full health enemy team, but looks like they played that just perfectly. A great Zion Spartan ultimate, taking a lot of damage but using that Zhonya's appropriately. And now we're sitting at 39 to 33, 61k to 55k. Definitely solidifying a bit of a gold lead here for this blue team. Ezreal taking a little bit of heat from that turret, and now the Sejuani coming in, trying to slow down the Elise, but she has nothing to jump to, so once again the slow going off. It is going to be enough to pick him up, and Ezreal is now dominating. 15, 5, 16 with 296 minions. Dear God, how do you deal with this guy? He is just doing so much damage, and he has so much CC and kite ability. just by scoot and shooting. Launching those Qs, launching those Ws, launching those auto attacks, and just making sure that he cannot be caught up to. And while you're trying to chase him, he is just doing so much damage to you. Not really sure how the enemy team is planning on dealing with this one, because they don't have anybody who's really going to jump directly onto that Ezreal and lock him down and kill him. The Elise is pretty much the only one who's going to be able to repel and try to get onto that one, maybe cocoon him, but you don't really have much more than that, because the Nautilus ultimate, sure, you're going to be able to cast it on him, but he's just going to Arcane Shift out of the way. Right? Arcane Shift so far back that the enemy team can't really follow up on it. Not really sure how they're going to deal with the Ezreal, with him being so mobile. Looks like the blue team going up to this top lane. Probably want to try to take down that that last inner turret there in the top lane. Get those 7 turrets that they're looking for. Talon taking a turret shot. Not exactly sure why. Just wanted to check it out, I guess. And now Daydreamin taking a little bit of damage from that Jace Shock Blast. He did manage to land an accelerated Shock Blast there. And you know what? Talon, he is doing a lot of damage, does have some good items, but sitting at 7, 12, 9. So really taking a lot of heat, but they do manage to catch this Ezreal. A crescendo coming out, really only hitting the Draven, and the Sejuani ultimate catching 2 members there. But Zion Spartan using his Zhonya's with that ultimate up, stunning a lot of people, but at least coming in, putting that Ignite up, and manages to kill Zion Spartan. At least jumps over to a minion, but the Ezreal is just going to Arcane Shift and get right back on in there. Jace trying to do as much as he can, but it looks like, is Dark Zephyr on Nautilus going to fall? Oh, dear God, though. Ezreal might be taking a little bit too much damage. A Blade of the Ruin King procs with the lifesteal, going to keep him alive actually with that Sona heal, and Talon picking up the Jace. Ends up being a great fight for this blue team, 3 for 1. Don't know how Ezreal managed to survive that one, just barely enough heals from the Blade of the Ruin King and the Sona. Nautilus coming in, trying to pick off this Ezreal with his Q, but it's not going to work. I think this might actually be the game. I'm not entirely sure because they still have 2 turrets to get through, but Ezreal coming in with that Talon, going to kill that Nautilus. He just could not run away because of those Iceborne Gauntlet procs. And it looks like Ezreal is just trying to do a little bit of harassment on this Lulu, but doesn't even manage to hit her. This is going to be good game. And talking about good games, Good Game University, Daydreamin, and Zion Spartan. Very glad I could finally cast a Daydreamin game. This guy was one of the best support players I've seen in the LCS, bringing like support LeBlanc and support Yorick into the LCS and professional scene. He played a great Sona this game, managed to get 7-6, 25, and Zion Spartan picking it up at the end too. So had a little bit of a rough early game, but a great late game, and an incredible Ezreal game for nothing here on that Ezreal on the blue team. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game, and I will see you guys in the next video.